Police emergency.
Hi there. Okay. Hello. I need police and a forensics team to my address, please.
What do you mean? What's happened?
My friend and I got into an altercation, and I'm the only one who came out alive.
Are you telling me you've killed somebody?
Yes, I am.
Right, and who am I speaking to?
My name is Lewis Daines. I'm 18 years old, and I live at 12 Greylands, Rosebery Road, Grays, Essex, Romeo Mike 175 Yankee Hotel.
Right.
Breck Bednar was born on the 17th of March 1999. He was a student at St. Bede's School in Redhill in Surrey, and a member of the Air Training Corps 135 Squadron also in Redhill. He attended St. John the Evangelist Church in Caterham. His mother described him as relaxed and warm-hearted, with many friends with whom he played games online after school, and passionate about computing. Bednar's parents, Barry Bednar and Lauren Lefebvre, were born in the United States. They had met in Breckenridge, Colorado, and were married in Texas in 1993. The family moved to England from the United States 3 years before Breck's birth, due to Barry's work as an oil trader and shipping consultant requiring him to move. Lauren is a teaching assistant. Bednar's mother, Lauren Lefebvre, was reported to have limited his access to electronics, installed parental controls and forbade him from using the same server as a boy she had grown suspicious of. She recalled, his personality was changing and his ideology was changing and he was starting to refuse to attend church with us. I felt like it was because of the negative influence of this person. On the 17th of December 2013, Lefebvre called Surrey police expressing concerns about online grooming. She said she warned police that her son was in danger. Nonetheless, it was reported, the teenagers had been playing games online for several months, despite Lefebvre's efforts to put an end to their relationship.
I'm Lauren Lefebvre, the mother of Breck David Lefebvre Bednar, and this week Breck's killer was sentenced to 25 years, life, 25 years for the murder of my son. He had manipulated and lured and groomed my son for several months, and I was very suspicious of Daines from a very early time, and I did alert the police and other parents. I did speak to Breck about it. I did everything that I could to try to get Breck to understand that this predator wasn't safe. But for some reason, Breck was under the spell and believed what Daines was saying.
On the 17th of February 2014, Bednar travelled by taxi to Daines' flat. Later that day, his father, with whom he had been expected to spend the weekend, sent a text message to tell Lefebvre that Breck had not arrived. A few hours later his siblings, 12-year-old triplets, began to receive messages that their brother had been murdered, describing photos of Bednar that had been posted on social media, which were soon confirmed by the police. The photos, showing Bednar's body, were posted to other members of the 6-person online gaming group. Word spread, leading to a friend's text message to one of the triplets, "Is it true about your brother? If it's true, it's so sad." At the same time, police were telling Bednar's parents the news that their son had been murdered. Police and paramedics were called to the flat where Bednar was found with stab wounds to his neck, deceased. Daines, an unemployed computer engineer, was believed to have met Bednar while playing online video games. Daines was described as a baby-faced killer who looked much younger than his 19 years. When he was 16, he lived alone in a flat owned by his grandparents. His neighbors described him as reclusive. Daines was given a life sentence and will serve a minimum term.
Walked past Carly's bedroom and he was laying on her bed on top of the covers, and I immediately went, "Oh God, why is he in there?" And so I just woke them up and I said to him, "You need to get out of my house. You need to get your things, you need to get out." It wasn't until she was at the door that she kind of looked at me in a funny way, and I thought, give me a hug.
Carly Ryan, 15, lived in South Australia with her mother, Sonia Ryan. Approximately 18 months before her death, while using MySpace, and vampirefreaks.com, she befriended Brandon Kane, a fictitious Texas-born teen living in Melbourne, which eventually grew into an online and telephone romance. In January 2007, Gary Newman traveled from Melbourne posing as Shane, the father of Brandon, in order to give Carly Ryan Presents lingerie and a nurse's outfit from the non-existent Brandon. After meeting her mother, he was then allowed to attend Ryan's 15th birthday party and stay overnight. After a shopping trip together, Newman's increasingly erratic and possessive behavior at the party, and inappropriate physical advances, including laying onto Ryan's bed with her, he was told to leave by Sonia Ryan. Newman returned to Adelaide on February 19, 2007, alongside his 17-year-old son to pose as Brandon, and convinced Carly to meet them without telling her mother where she was going. During this meeting, Newman and his son took Carly to the Horseshoe Bay Beach in Port Elliot, South Australia, and murdered her in the late night of February 19, by suffocating her with beach sand. Her body was discovered floating in the water near the shore the following morning, and within 11 days of the murder, law enforcement tracked down Gary Newman's home and collected enough evidence to arrest him for Carly's murder. He was ultimately sentenced to life in prison with a non-parole period of 29 years. The case, which highlighted the emerging phenomena of catfishing, child grooming, and online predatory behavior, was unique at the time, given that Carly was the first person in Australia to be killed by an online predator. In the wake of the arrest and trial of Newman, public opinion eventually led to nationwide legal changes, nicknamed Carly's Law, being made to help protect minors online. The autopsy revealed 19 separate injuries, with 6 to 8 of them being blows to the head, and the cause of death was a combination of facial trauma, smothering, and drowning. It also revealed cannabinoids in Ryan's bloodstream and beach sand in her esophagus. Investigators examined security footage, which showed Ryan in and around Port Elliot on the 19th of February, in the company of 2 men, and she was last seen alive by witnesses at the beach at 9:30 p.m. A search revealed that Newman had kept a notebook detailing some 200 online personas, and other criminal attempts at grooming both in Australia and internationally. At trial, Newman, who was initially not identified to the media, acted erratically and initially denied meeting the teenager. On the 21st of January 2010, Newman was sentenced to life imprisonment with a 29-year non-parole period. Newman's adopted son, who was a minor at the time and a witness to the killing, was cleared of all charges and his identity remains suppressed.
The 7th grader went missing last week after climbing out of her bedroom window. Her body found 80 miles away in North Carolina.
These 2 individuals took my daughter from this planet, and I want to know why. I want all the information I can get.
The nightmare for Nicole Lovell's mother began on the morning of January 27, 2016. David Eisenhower was an 18-year-old freshman studying engineering when he developed a relationship with Nicole Lovell, a 7th grader in Blacksburg. David and Nicole communicated online for months before meeting at least once in person. They then met again in January 2016, when David lured Nicole out of her family's apartment with the promise of a secret date, then killed her because he was afraid she would expose their relationship. Investigators determined Nicole had been communicating over the messaging app Kik with someone using the screen name, Dr. Tombstone. Using an IP address provided by the app, the FBI traced the username to David. Before the sentence was handed down by the judge, David apologized.
I am sorry for the pain that my actions have caused Nicole Lovell and her family. It is my deepest regret, and I'm aware my actions have serious consequences. Nothing can ever undo what has been done, and for that, I am deeply, sincerely, and forever sorry.
Natalie Keepers, a friend of David's, whom prosecutors have identified as his accomplice, stood trial on charges of being an accessory before the fact and concealing a body. Prosecutors have said that Natalie told police David told her he feared Nicole could be pregnant. Natalie said David told her he may have had sex with Nicole at a party, but couldn't remember because he blacked out and later woke up in a ditch. Nicole's body was found after several days of searching just over the state line in North Carolina. A medical examiner testified that she had 14 stab wounds, including a lethal wound to her neck. Natalie Keepers was sentenced to 40 years in prison and David Eisenhower was sentenced to 50 years in prison. Neither is eligible for parole. Even with guilty verdicts, the question of why may never be answered. The shell-shocked community of Blacksburg still doesn't understand how two intelligent college kids, with their lives in front of them, would take the life of a 13-year-old girl.